A very good morning, everyone. I, Ashima Khanna, Company Secretary of Dalmia Bharat Sugar Industries Limited, attending this meeting from Delhi, welcome you all to the 70th Annual General Meeting of the company, being held through video conferencing facilitated by National Securities and Depository Limited. I hope you all are safe and in good health. This meeting is held through video conferencing in compliance with the circulars issued by Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Government of India, and Securities and Exchange Board of India. Participation of members through video conference is being reckoned for the purpose of quorum as per the circulars issued by Ministry of Corporate Affairs and Section 103 of the Companies Act. We have the requisite quorum present for us to conduct the proceedings of this meeting. Mr. Rajiv Bakshi, the Chairman of the Board of Directors, being present, shall chair this meeting. Mr. Rajiv Bakshi is an independent director on the Board of Directors of the company and is also the Chairman of the Risk Management Committee and a member of the Nomination and Remuneration Committee. Mr. Bakshi is an economics graduate from St. Stephen's College, Delhi University, and an MBA from the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, and has a leadership experience of over 40 years across food and FMCG businesses. May I now please request the chairman to take the chair.
Thank you, and good morning to all my fellow members on the board of Dalmia Bharat Sugar and Industries Limited, the management team, auditors, scrutinizer, and all the members. I hope all of you are safe and in good health. I would like to thank the Government of India to permit conduct of the AGM, Annual General Meeting, through video conferencing. And I would also like to thank all the members for their support for making this happen successfully. The company has taken all feasible steps to enable members to participate through video conference and vote at the Annual General Meeting. I now call this 70th Annual General Meeting of Dalmia Bharat Sugar and Industries Limited to order. However, before we start the formal proceedings of the meeting, I would request the Company Secretary to first introduce the members of the Board of Directors of the company attending the AGM. Over to you.
Yes, sir. I would like to introduce Mr. P. Kannan. He's an independent director on the board and the chairperson of the Stakeholder Relationship Committee. Next, I would like to introduce Mr. Gautam Dalmia, the Managing Director of the company. He needs no introduction. He has led the effort to design and implement the company's integrated sugar, ethanol and cogeneration businesses and has hands-on experience of leading the company at the highest level. Next is Mr. Bharat Bhushan Mehta, the whole-time director and CEO of the company, a well-known name in the sugar industry, a visionary and a leader. I would now like to invite the chairman to please address the members.
Ladies and gentlemen, shareholders and colleagues, it's a great pleasure and honor to welcome you all to the 70th Annual General Meeting of Dalmia Bharat Sugar and Industries Limited. Your company has reported a record performance in financial year 21-22, marked by its highest ever revenue, profit before tax, profit after tax, sugar exports, and sugar diversion to ethanol. This is the result of the company's commitment to divert sugar towards ethanol, sugar export strategy, operating efficiency, reduced working capital outlay, low cost debt, and last but not the least, due to the tireless efforts of committed team of employees who not only concentrate on delivering results, but simultaneously ensure the harmonious relationship with all stakeholders. The growth of the economy, India's GDP growth grew by about 9% in FY22 compared to a contraction of approximately 7% in FY21. In FY22, your company's revenue grew by 12% from rupees 2739 crores in FY21 to rupees 3080 crores in FY22. And PAT grew by 9% from rupees 270 crores in FY21 to rupees 294 crores in FY22. On the macro sugar parameters, in SS 21-22, gross production of sugar in India before diversion is expected to be at very high levels of around 39.5 million metric tons, and net sugar production after diversion into ethanol at 36.0 million metric tons, as against the domestic consumption of 27.3 million MT. Considering a record level of estimated exports this season, stock levels are expected to be at around 6 million metric tons. In the next year also, we envisage similar production levels and a moderate increase in consumption and expect sugar prices to remain stable. At the global level, we expect the stock levels to remain at similar levels as that of last year end. On the brownfield expansion, during FY22, the company has completed major expansion projects. Distillery capacity expanded from 300 KLPD to 600 KLPD. Sugar refinery installed at Jawaharpur location for full capacity has been established. Cane crushing capacity has been expanded to 39,000 TCD. As a result, annualized distillery production capacity has increased from 8 crore litres to 16 crore litres, and component of refined sugar has increased from 25% to 50% of total sugar production. Our response to COVID. Last 2 years were actually full of testing times for all of us. There was nobody who remained untouched by the consequences of the pandemic. We at Dalmia Bharat Sugar also experienced the heat and pressure to take this unprecedented time head on. Hats off to the team of employees, farmers, vendors, and all of the stakeholders who remained united together and ensured all possible efforts for safety of human assets and simultaneously ensuring the continuity of business operations. This was the result of the cohesiveness only that we not only delivered the best ever financial numbers, but also completed substantial brownfield projects within the target time. Updates on ethanol. Out of the 449 CR litres finalized by the OMC for the ethanol supply year 21-22, that is from December to November, against a total requirement of 459 CR litres, contracts of 445 crore litres have been executed till the 17th of July 2022. Against the above 283 crore litres have been lifted by the OMCs till 17th of July 2022. The total lifted quantity is 64% of the contracted quantity and 63% of the finalized quantity. The average blending percentage is 10.17% till the 17th of July 2022. The company intends to emerge as a significant contributor to achieve the country's ethanol blending target of 20% by 2025. In line with the same, the company has already doubled its ethanol capacity, and further adding grain distillery at Jawaharpur location for additional 3 crore litres per annum. We have diverted around 25% of its sugar towards ethanol by way of diversion through B-heavy molasses and directly from syrup, which is one of the highest percentages in the industry. Lastly, on sustainability. Sustainability parameters coupled with economic growth have always been a matter of growing importance to us. The pillars of economic, environmental, social governance have shaped what we have become and will continue to lead us to the future. The company is determined to progress on each of these pillars, which helped us to achieve great results. Your company is committed to the values and is consistently exploring to make the business more sustainable. The company is excited about the new opportunities created by a strong capital structure, growth investments, digital transformation, and commitment to continue to lead the industry in the global transition to a low-carbon, green, and circular economy. I am deeply grateful to the board members for their constant support and encouragement. I would like to thank the entire Dalmia Bharat Sugar family for playing a significant role in the company's growth and progress in the previous years. I thank our shareholders, investors, and vendors for the immense faith they have placed on the company. Thanking you. Thank you. Over to you, Ashma.
Next, I would like to invite Mr. Kanil Kataria, the CFO of the company, to kindly give a brief presentation on the key financial highlights of the year 21-22.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I'll take you through to the key financial highlights of for the financial year 21-22. Yeah. Is it coming?
Host need to disable, to enable this sharing.
Yeah. Enable.
Enable now.
Okay.
Disable still.
Still it is coming disabled. So, host, please enable it.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah. So the key highlights for the financial year 21-22. Your company has achieved a major milestone of crossing 3,000 crore turnover, and it has recorded the highest ever PBT and PAT in financial year 22 due to better sugar sales realization, higher sugar diversion, and improved fundamentals at macro level. The financial year 22 financial highlights are the highest ever revenue at 3,080 crore as against 2,739 crore, EBITDA at 488 crore as against 526 crores. The lower EBITDA on account of reduction in power tariff in Maharashtra at 24 crore and consumer business loss of 24 crores. But for these two items, the EBITDA would have been higher. Highest ever PBT at 380 crore as against 369 crores, and highest ever PAT at 295 crore as against 270 crores. In the operational key highlights, your company commissioned the Ramgarh distillery in January 22 as per the target schedule with low cost overrun. In sugar season 22, the company diverted around 1.6 lakh metric ton, approximately 25% of the total sugar towards ethanol, which is the highest in the industry, and highest ever ethanol production and sales during the quarter as well as the financial year, and highest ever sugar exports during the year at 2.3 lakh metric ton. Other key highlights were, we achieved 100% cane payment, so there were no cane areas. We paid all the cane dues within the 14 days of the purchase. And the company drawn 230 crore loan during the year for distillery capacity increase under interest subvention. And the total long-term loan as on 31st March 22 is 396 crore, which is all under interest subvention scheme. And despite taking the additional debt due to distillery capacities, our total debt reduced to the lowest level in the last 5 years. Rupees 620 crore as against balance of 932 crore last year. And this will stand us in good stead to withstand the rising interest cost scenario in the future. The financial numbers, the total revenue is up 12% from 2,739 crore to 3,080 crore. EBITDA minus 7% as explained in the earlier slides. It is because of Maharashtra power tariff reduction and the consumer business loss. Otherwise, EBITDA would have been higher at 538 crores. PBT at 380 crore as against 369 crores. PAT at 295 crore as against 270, and consequently EPS at 36.48 as against 33.38. And the segment-wise EBITDA, sugar is up from 211 to 217. Cogen is at similar level, 124 as against 125, and distillery at 164 crore as against 186 crores. Distillery EBITDA impacted due to change in the transfer prices, and the consumer business loss. Consumer business incurred a loss of 16 crore as against a profit on account of sanitizer of 8 crores. Wind farm and others more or less similar, 2 crore negative as against 5 crore negative. Financial ratios are very robust. Current ratio is up from 1.56 to 1.85. Long-term debt equity ratio is very low at 0.17. Net long-term debt equity is 0.06, and long-term loan to EBITDA is just 0.81. Net long-term loan to EBITDA is just 0.28. EBITDA margin 16%, and the PAT margin similar as that of last year's 10%. And if we see the historical financial performance journey for the last 5 to 6 years, in financial year 16, our revenue was 1188 crore, and now we are at 3080 crore with the CAGR of 17%. EBITDA at financial year 16 at 248 crore, now it is 488 crore, CAGR of 12%. PBT 47 to 380, a CAGR of 41%, and PAT from 58 to 295, a CAGR of 31%, and EPS of 7 rupees to 36 at CAGR of 31%. The sugar sector overview: the gross production of sugar in India before diversion has reached very high levels and is estimated at 395 lakh metric ton, and net sugar production at 360 lakh metric ton. In the next year also these levels may be similar, but however, in spite of higher production, the stock levels are likely to be lower on account of higher exports and higher diversion of sugar, and accordingly sugar prices are likely to remain stable. An ethanol blending program is on track. Out of 449 crore finalized by OMC for ethanol supply year 21-22 against total requirement of 459 crores. Contracts for 445 crore liters have been executed till 17 July 2022. Against above 283 crore liters have already been lifted by OMC till 17 July 2022. And the total lifted quantity is 64% of the contracted quantity and 63% of the finalized quantity. So the average blending percentage is at 10.17% till 17th July 2022. The sugar balance sheet, balance sheet is fairly good. At 21-22, our closing stock is at 57 lakh metric ton, which is the lowest in the last 5-7 years. And this is the percentage of internal consumption is just 21%, and the sugar diverted to ethanol is 35 lakh metric ton in 21-22, and it is going to go up from 35 lakh to 45 lakh. And so the sugar closing stock inventory is at moderate level, and that augurs well for the industry. And consequently, the sugar prices are likely to remain stable in the near to medium term. Even international sugar levels are fairly balanced. The production was once 174 million metric ton, and the consumption also was 174 million metric ton, and stock was 96 million metric ton. And the stock consumption ratio is 55. So internationally also the balance sheet looks, the fundamentals look fairly good, and that should, that augurs well for the industry. The scale of operations, the cane crush for the sugar season, if you see the trend from 18-19 to 21-22, it has gone up from 46.06 lakh metric ton to 52.92 lakh metric ton. Both in, UP has gone up from 34.75 lakh metric ton from 18-19 to 21-22 at 37.16, and Maharashtra from 11.31 to 15.76. Normative recovery is, blended recovery is at 12.16. It is lower than the last year because of agroclimatic conditions in UP. So UP was lower in this sugar season as compared to the last season. And the sugar diversion is significantly higher. The last year the sugar diversion was 0.58, and this year it is 1.56 lakh. So the sugar in the system it has come down from 5.62 lakh to 4.87 lakh metric ton. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Kataria, and now request Ashima Khanna, Company Secretary, to conduct the further proceedings of this annual general meeting.
Thank you, sir. Dear members, please note that the e-voting facility on the resolution proposed in the notice of the annual general meeting is enabled throughout the meeting and shall remain enabled for the 15 minutes thereafter. Those members who have not voted through e-voting, remote e-voting during August 1st to August 3rd could please use the e-voting facility and complete their voting. Mr. Vikas Kera, Practicing Company Secretary, has been appointed by the Board of Directors as scrutinizer to ensure that the e-voting process is conducted in a fair and transparent manner, and to scrutinize the votes cast by members through remote e-voting and e-voting during the meeting. All documents and register referred to in the notice of the annual general meeting and required under the Companies Act, that is, the Register of Directors, KLP and their shareholding, and the Register of Contracts are available electronically for inspection by the members. As the AGM is being held through video conference, the facility for appointment of proxies by the members is not available. The floor will be open for members for question and answer session After completion of the formal proceedings of the meeting, the moderator will facilitate the session once the chairman opens the floor for question and answers. It may please be noted that the company reserves the right to limit the number of members asking questions depending upon the availability of the time. Members are requested to refer to the instructions provided in the notice or appearing on the video conference page for a seamless participation through video conference. In case members face any difficulty, they may reach out on the helpline numbers. As the notice of the AGM has already been circulated to all the members, with the permission of the chair, we would like to take the same as read.
Yes, please.
With the permission of the chair, we will now take up the items set forth in the notice of this AGM.
Yes, please.
So the first item number 1, is to consider and adopt the standalone and consolidated financials of the company for the financial year ended 31st March 2022 and the reports of the directors and auditors thereon. The financial statements and the reports of the auditors and directors have already been circulated to all the members. There is no qualification, reservation or adverse remarks in the statutory auditor's report given by NSBP and Company, the statutory auditors, on the financial statements. The notes on the financial statements referred to in the auditor's report are self-explanatory and do not call for any comments or explanations. The auditors have not reported any matter under Section 143(12) of the Companies Act. Also, there is no qualification, reservation or adverse remark in the secretarial audit report of Harish Khurana and Associates, the secretarial auditor of the company. Item number 2 is to consider and declare a dividend of ₹1 per equity share of ₹2 for the financial year 2021-22. Item number 3 is to appoint a director in place of Shri Bharat Bhushan Mehta, who retires by rotation and being eligible offers himself for reappointment. Item number 4 is to consider and approve the reappointment of NSBP and Company Chartered Accountants, the statutory auditors of the company, for a term of 5 consecutive years. Then comes the special business. Item number 5 is to consider and ratify the remuneration of R.J. Goel and Associates, cost accountants, the cost auditors of the company, for the financial year 2022 to 2023 by an ordinary resolution. Item number 6 is to consider and approve payment of remuneration to Mr. Rajiv Bakshi, Chairman, Non-Executive and Independent Director, for the financial year 2021-22, which may exceed 50% of the total remuneration payable to all the non-executive directors of the company. There is no other business to transact.
Thank you, Ashima. While e-voting is still in the process and will continue for 15 minutes, even after the meeting, I would now request the moderator to take up the questions of members which have been submitted one by one. Members are requested to keep their questions brief and specific. I also request Mr. Pankaj Rastogi, the Chief Executive Officer of the sugar business, to please respond to the queries.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman, sir. Yeah.
Ashima, shall I allow a speaker shoulder?
Yes, please.
First speaker is Mr. Gopal Krishnan. Mr. Gopal, you are unmuted now. Now you can ask your question. Kindly unmute yourself. You can switch on your video as well if you want to do.
Very good morning, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are audible, Mr.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. I am Gopal Krishnan from Chennai. It's really good to see our company breaking its own records year on year. The highest ever revenue. What is the key to such great success achieved?
Yeah, good morning and thank you, Mr. Gopal Krishnan. Your company has achieved all-time high turnover, profit before tax and profit after tax. You've just seen the numbers in the financial presentation. Capacity optimization of various segments, major push towards export of sugar and maximization of sugar diversion to ethanol. These are 3 drivers which have contributed to achieve such robust results. Your company will continue to make endeavors to create maximum value creation for stakeholders in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mr. Ratnesh Shah. Mr. Ratnesh Shah, you can ask your question. Now you are unmuted.
Good morning, sir. Myself is Ratnesh Shah from Bihar, sir. During the financial year 21-22, the company has commissioned brownfield projects, including expansion of sugar capacities, expansion and commissioning of distilleries. How do you see the long-term impact of the same?
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Ratnesh Shah. Your company has commissioned all its ongoing major brownfield projects well in time. With the commissioning of these projects, the company has further strengthened its growth metrics, the benefits of which will accrue in future. With higher share of distillery products in the overall product mix, the company is all set to achieve consistent and stable returns in future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Mr. Suresh Nair. Mr. Nair, you are unmuted. You can go ahead to ask your question, please. Mr. Nair, kindly go ahead to ask your question. I think Mr. Nair is not responding. So, Ashma, shall we move to next speaker?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Nair.
Yeah, sorry, it was on mute. Yeah, good morning. It is really good to see our company being the first sugar company in the country having presented the integrated annual report. This is really give us the true value of the company. Could you please explain in brief the steps taken by the company towards the sustainability, towards the water positiveness and power positiveness?
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Nair. We wanted to replace the traditional annual report which we produce with one integrated report. This integrated report provides a more unified view of how we create and sustain value in the short, medium, and long term in our business. This report encompasses the key non-financial indicators which are material to the company. Accelerating towards green growth has been your company's mantra for quite some time now. To continuously improve our resource efficiency, we have been implementing various water energy saving initiatives at all our plants. Your company has achieved zero discharge effluent at all its plants. We also recognize the role of green power in reducing GHG emissions and utilize bagasse in cogeneration of power. We produce ethanol which is blended for petrol for eco-friendliness. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Mr. Desingu. Mr. Desingu, you are unmuted. Now you can go ahead to ask your question, please.
Hello. Hello.
Sir, we are getting echo, so I think you can just.
Hello. Good morning, sir. Hello.
Okay. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Good morning,
Please
sir.
go ahead.
Are you hearing?
Yeah, audible. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible. Good morning.
Hello.
So you can ask your question, you're audible.
Hello.
Mr. Desingu, you are audible. You can please ask your question.
Ashima, shall we move ahead? I think he is struggling with his connection.
Yes, there is some video.
Hello.
You can move on to the next shareholder.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Mr. Sudhir Tiwari is our next speaker. Mr. Sudhir, now you can go ahead to ask your question. You are unmuted now. Ashma, I think Mr. Tiwari is not responding. So,
yes, you can move on to the next speaker.
Okay. Our next speaker is Mr. Amitabh Pandey. Mr. Amitabh, now you can go ahead to ask your question. You are unmuted. Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning, everybody. This is Amitabh from Delhi. And my question is that this year we have a higher amount of sugar export. So what's the long-term strategy in this regard?
Good morning, Mr. Amitabh. Your company has one of the largest export percentage in the total turnover. With a very high refined sugar ratio, along with close proximity to ports, it helps your company, being in an advantageous position for exports. The global sugar scenario has also remained favorable with higher sugar diversion to ethanol by Brazil. In near term, we expect that the same trends will continue and it will be favorable for exports. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our last speaker shareholder is Mr. Hira Singh. Mr. Hira, you are unmuted. Now kindly go ahead to ask your question, please.
Hello. Sir, I am Hira Singh from Haryana. I would like to, I don't have the question, but I want to say that we are very happy with the consistent growth of the business and consequent stakeholders' value. The company has been regular and increasing the dividend distribution over the past 4 to 5 years. We would like to congratulate you for the same and wish you all the best for your efforts. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Hira Singh. As a very valued stakeholders, your congratulations and your wishes mean a lot for the company and for everyone associated with the company. Thank you once again.
Thank you,
sir. Ashima, now over to you, please.
Thank you.
Over to the chairman. So you're on mute.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Rastogi and Mr. Kataria.
Thank you, Chairman.
All the items of business as per the notice of the 70th Annual General Meeting have been taken up. I now declare the proceedings of the Annual General Meeting as completed. As mentioned earlier, the e-voting facility will continue to be available for 15 minutes after the meeting. I request and authorize the Company Secretary to declare the results of the voting upon receipt of the scrutinizer's report by placing the same on the website and notice board of the company and filing with the stock exchanges at the earliest and not later than the 6th of August 2022. On behalf of our Board of Directors and management of Dalmia Sugar, I convey my sincere thanks to all the members for attending and participating in this meeting. Stay healthy and safe. Take care. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I shall do the needful. Thank you all for attending the meeting, and I hereby give a vote of thanks to the chair and on behalf of Dalmia Bharat Sugar Industries Limited and on my own behalf. Thank you to the chairman, the board of directors, auditors, scrutinizer, and the valuable members of the company for making this EAGM a success and extending your full support. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.